Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Last night, obviously, the game ended late. We wanted to make sure we were refreshed and energized to go over this fantastic day, guys. Can't you just see it written all over our faces? How thrilled we are at the way this Tennessee Titan team defeated the Miami Dolphins. Well, with all that being said, we're going to get into everything. So let's not waste a minute. Jimmy, start us out.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Levis towards the end zone. Got a man. Touchdown. Wow. And it's the fourth TD pass of the day in the debut of Will Levis.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. Sick! It's going to be sick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. Joined, as always, by my two counterparts, Jarett and Vin. We had a hell of a night, and we're happy we were able to get some sleep. We were able to take our time and let that win marinate, but it is a Titan victory post-game, per se, show. So we're going to dive into the game, and we'll get Jarett and Vin's opinions, as always. But first, let's do a special shout-out to, as always, our great sponsors over at DraftKings. Touchdown Tutty in for 6 touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, on the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to place your bets? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your picks. Ready to do a touchdown dance your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Use code SICKSPORTS. That is code SICKSPORTS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Jarett, let us know what you got today for our live spreads.
Jeez, if you want to see a live spread that I'm just scrolling through right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars are -1 at the Chicago Bears, minus 105 right now. I don't know how that's possible right now, but if I were you guys, I would definitely bet the Bears +1 at home because the Jacksonville Jaguars look absolutely terrific.
They're horrendous. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Vincent, I think of all three of us, you probably were the most colorful from the off week, or I should say the week after our last game. So after what you saw last night, what's changed in your mind, and what's your outlook on this team? Is it different at all from the other day?
I mean, it's we're just kind of stuck in the middle again, and it's going to be very frustrating going forward because we have to decide what we want to do. Do we have a defense that's good enough where we want to compete this year and try to get into the playoffs? Because we showed what we can do when we have a quarterback who doesn't even need to play well. He just doesn't need to play like an asshole and turn the ball over. Because last night you would have thought that I said Mason Rudolph was the second coming of Tom Brady, the way some people are reacting. But he did not turn the ball over. He was decisive in the pocket, if you want to look at Brian Baldinger's breakdown of Mason Rudolph. And our defense took care of the rest along with our run game, and we won the game. So what do we want to do going forward? Do we want to keep that formula and be competitive in every game and win 7, 8, 9 games? Because I think it's entirely possible with a quarterback who doesn't turn the ball over, with a defense that's playing this well. Or do we turn it back over to Will Levis, who we know is going to continue to struggle because this is kind of who he is as a person. And we have to decide if we want to put him in there and let him choke and fail and pick top 5 again, or does he win 6, 7 games? And then we're in the same position we were last year where we're going to miss out maybe on the top tier talent that we want, or and pick 7 or 8 and get someone that, might be okay. So we're just in a precarious situation. I don't know what we want to do going forward. I think our fan base is kind of split. But that's kind of how I feel. If it was up to me, I would almost probably rather Will Levis, start just so we could finally get the whole fan base on board with him being completely awful and we could pick top 5. But that's kind of how I feel.
Jarett?
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we got criticized over the past weekend on Will Levis? I mean, it's just simple things, guys. We're holding a quarterback accountable for his actions. It's nine turnovers in 4 games now. In my opinion, you can crucify me all you want. I think if Will Levis is in that game for the rest of the game, I don't see that. You know what? I'll give them the win because, our defense was all over Huntley yesterday, even though they got 14 points. But still, this offense is so predictable. It's so boring. Everybody touched on it online last night. It's so predictable, so boring. It's the same thing as Todd Downing and Tim Kelly. When Treylon Burks comes into the game and Nick Westbrook are going to come in the game, it's going to be a run. We have all these weapons. We were supposed to be this whirlwind passing team. We haven't seen anything in the last 4 weeks that's going to indicate any of that. We've seen more runs. Why the hell do we get rid of Derrick Henry if we're going to do that? If we're going to run with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, why get rid of Derrick Henry? I mean, great, yeah, they're running the ball very well, but to me, this offense is still stale. 14 points from touchdowns, 15 points off of field goals, okay, and 2 points from a safety. To me, 30 points, congratulations, we broke the barrier. But that's not a sexy 30 points in my opinion.
Okay? I mean, it was the most. Go ahead.
It's 30 points, but you know what? If 30 points is sexy, it's 30 points consistently moving the football down the field, scoring touchdowns. Ridley across the middle of the field, Hopkins across the middle of the field, Tyler Boyd across the middle of the field. It was such a boring game sitting on that couch last night. We were all texting each other. Everyone's sitting there. Man, this is the most boring win we've seen as Titan fans. And don't get it twisted. I'm very happy that we won, but stuff needs to be improved going into Indy after the bye.
Guys, we need a safety to score over 30 points today, guys. Okay, we needed 5 field goals. We needed a touchdown that was unnecessary with 20 seconds left in the game to score 30 points. This should not be in the record book as us saying, okay, it's time to turn the page. All right, so all of you fans out there that are content with this win, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. For those of us who are not overly impressed, for those of us who are not excited for the first half of October, getting towards our next game against Indianapolis at home, there's nothing wrong with that as well. I mean, we got our first victory of this season with our backup in who threw for 50%. So what
versus a third string quarterback?
Yeah, and I said this last night on my post game. If you think for 1 second, or maybe today, if you think for 1 second that Mason Rudolph performance is going to get us a win at home against Joe Flacco, let alone Anthony Richardson, either of them, it's not happening. At the end of the day, yes, you need an elite defense to win games. So your defense can only go so far. 9 times out of 10, your quarterback needs to outperform the other quarterback if you want to win consistently in this league. Uh-huh. And Mason Rudolph isn't outperforming Lawrence, Flacco, obviously Stroud. I don't even think he's outperforming Richardson right now, guys. He has zero mobility. If you're going to have zero mobility in this league, you better be Peyton Manning accurate. And obviously he's not Peyton Manning accurate. The kid can't roll out of a sack. He might be able to get around on the outside and possibly get your first down with his legs, but he is basically not mobile at all. He's a pure pocket passer, and if you give him enough time, he'll be able to make a pro throw here and there, which he did last night. But you can't trust this O-line long term.
Speaking of pro throws, did you guys see the Baldy breakdown from Baldy this morning?
I saw the sweat one.
How the difference go. Look, I'll tag you on the Baldy one, but how the difference it is where they called the same exact play under Will Levis, who ended up running for that first down. Well, supposedly first down, but we never challenged that. But that's another thing where he hurt his shoulder and he was supposed to hit the tight end. And then they called that same exact play 2 series later. And Mason Rudolph got his first read and zinged the ball to Josh Wiley for a first down. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. He has to go through his progressions and believe in it and see it and just throw it. Okay, he's just sitting there, running in the pocket, scrambling and trying to play hero ball like we're talking about. He needs to calm down or he's going to get hurt. And, I'm riding with him for the rest of the season, but I'm not saying another word about Will Levis, okay? No. Because, yes, he's the starting quarterback of my favorite team. And you guys can say, you're a hater, you're all this, that. I spent so much goddamn money on this team between merchandise and hats and frame shit on my wall with autographs and everything. So don't even say that I'm a fair weather fan or anything like that, okay? I hold players accountable, and every single person on the show and every one of you should do the same thing because you're spending your hard-earned money sitting in the stands and watching shit product on the field on the offense, okay? It needs to get better, and hopefully it will get better.
I can confirm Jarett has a lot of Titan shit on his wall, including a completely unrelated Disney movie. Remember the Titans poster framed in his basement. So just have to say the word Titans, and it's in Jared's basement. Rumor has it there's a picture of me and Sal on his wall too.
Rumor has it that he might be having another plaque on his wall soon. It might be my Ryan Tannehill that I might gift to him, even after I spent $7 large on it or $700. But the bottom line is this: I'd also like to say publicly, and God, I hope Mr. Levis, if by chance he takes a peek or a listen to us, obviously, if he knows me specifically on any social media platform, I've been one of his big campaigners. But one thing I got to say, William, if you're watching, brother, you get filmed a lot on the sideline, my guy. You got to do 2 things. Number one, you got to cut it out with the weird smirky looks. Okay, it's just tacky. Okay, personally, I think at least more than half of this franchise wants to see you with basically no emotion right now. Honestly, that's what we would like to see because maybe it'll make us believe that you might be just as disappointed as us and how things are currently going. I don't want to make it egregious where nobody on the team will respect it because you look like you're a mope. But the whole laughing, smirking, chirping while you're on the sideline, it's just tacky. And secondly, dude, I mean, enough. He's just so fucking worried about his hair. Every fucking minute he's doing this. Dude, I'm not nitpicking here, but it's just you can't be doing things like that until you're the shit, bro. You can fucking smirk and do this and look good. You're kind of embarrassing right now. So if you want to limit how embarrassing you look, at least kind of show that you're disappointed too in what's going on. At least that might help us sleep at night. Because right now, I preach every fucking week for the last year how this kid eats, sleeps, and breathes football, and it don't look like it right now. It just doesn't. He just looks like he expects to play well, and when he doesn't, it's all right, well, it's going to happen eventually, and we're running out of time. So, let's just take it down a notch, Mr. Levis. And Callahan's offense, we already touched on it. It's fucking boring as fuck. Dude, Sam Darnold, and I don't want to hear it. Okay, he's got Jefferson. Okay, he's got Addison. We have playmakers.
Supposedly.
No. Yeah, I know that's satire. No, we have fucking playmakers. Tajay Spears is really good at running in the open field. Yep. Pollard can hit home runs. Ridley has elite hands. Fucking D-Hop has elite hands. Boyd catches everything that's thrown to him. Why can't we score?
Did you see, by the way, did you guys see Calvin Ridley catch that screen and Ookie Bookie everybody for, extra 7 yards? Why can't we get the ball with him in open space? That's the 29th ranked offense in the league with all those talents in that league. It's embarrassing.
Nobody's going to want to come here. Obviously, Boyd's okay. He's getting his weekly paycheck. That's a lot more than any of us are going to make in a lifetime. But at the end of the fucking day, long term, who's going to want to come here? I don't care where T. Higgins is from. He ain't going to want to come here if he's going to average fucking 2 fantasy points a week. Okay? He could be from the next house next to Nissan Stadium. He could have woken up and seen the whatever was Adelphia Coliseum when he woke up. He's not going to want to come here if we can't get him a fucking pass for a 5-yard slant. Nobody will. This team has to take a step into this century's offense, and Callahan can't do it. It's him and his dad. What more comfortable situation you got to be in?
Let's not get everybody, everyone's balls in an uproar. They can't do it as of now. After 4 weeks, we still got to give it time, guys. We still got to give it time. They're 30th in the pass right now, 16th overall in the run, and 29th overall in offense. But let's see what happens after the bye week. We still have to give it time. Okay.
Jarett, you said. Well, I could touch on what Sal said too in regards to Will Levis acting like a clown on the sideline. He also needs to stop doing that so our friends can stop roasting us. I don't know about you guys. My friends are eating this shit up every week.
Oh yeah, I get a new meme every day. A new meme.
Yeah, sending it to me. We're the butt of everybody's jokes. Like, and what was he doing last night with that face? Was he shitting? Like, what were you doing? Like,
or is he just that hurt? And he still wanted to go back in.
And speaking of being hurt, I'm not going to say that I want to say I was right, but I told you this kid was not going to last if he continues to play the way he does. And what are you doing in the first quarter of a game, launching yourself on the sideline for a first down? We appreciate the hustle, I guess. But did we all not believe that this kid was not going to stay healthy if he continued throwing his body all over the place? You cannot do it in this league in the long term. If that is a play that helps us win the division at the end of the year or you're in the playoffs, have at it, dude. But, I mean, you got to just be smarter than that. And then they had him on tape before saying he didn't see the guy that he threw the interception to. Like,
you don't see a 350-pound defensive lineman dropping into coverage?
Everything that we thought he was going to be this year, he hasn't even been close to it. He's actually been the exact opposite. Now, as far as, Sal, your lack of belief in Mason Rudolph, yeah, maybe he's not mobile. Not maybe he's not. You're right. But guess what? He's 9-4-1 in his last 14 starts. He was in a very similar position in Pittsburgh where he was behind a phenomenal defense, and he helped them win games at the end of the year. So my question is, just to play devil advocate for you guys, let's say Will Levis comes in after the bye week and is doing the same stupid shit that he's been doing the last month of the season. What do we do then? Do we pull him in favor of Mason Rudolph to go against Buffalo the following week? Or do we just let Will Levis, for lack of a better term, die this year as our Titans quarterback? Let this team live and die with him to see if he is that bad, then okay, we'll be picking top 3. And maybe we go get – I'm not a huge fan of this quarterback class, but Jarett is our college guy. He can maybe elaborate more on it. Do we let this team sink so we could pick top 5 and go get – whether it's a Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, I don't know, or maybe a Travis Hunter, I don't know. Or do we let him be so bad this year and next year that maybe we go get Arch Manning? Because that would be just the most poetic thing ever for Manning to, take this team to where we finally want it to go. So I know that's how sad it is that we are talking about a sophomore quarterback that can't come out for another year, week 4 of this season. But my question is, long and short, say Will Levis comes back and continues to do the same shit. What's your move? Because I'm to the point where I don't want to see it anymore. I don't. I put Rudolph in and see if we can win it, however many games.
As
for
a
what
fan,
reason?
For what reason? Because I'm tired of him embarrassing the franchise.
Well, unfortunately,
he's embarrassing the franchise. He's embarrassing the fan base, the franchise, the ownership, the GM who put all the pieces in the puzzle for him to succeed this year.
I get it.
And he can't do jack shit with us. He can't even keep his head above water.
But we're never winning without a star at quarterback. And the only way you're getting one is to be horseshit for a long time. The Chiefs were horseshit for a long time. Now, they didn't use a super high draft pick to get the kid.
They traded up to get him, I think.
But still, they got the superstar. They're not a joke anymore. The Buffalo Bills, you guys obviously remember, it's been a while. But before Josh Allen, the Bills were a joke for a while. They had Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they thought they had a shot with him. Things were bad in Buffalo. They got the superstar. Cincinnati, before Burrow, I know it seems like a while ago, but they were horrendous. Andy Dalton was terrible with them. They got Burrow. You need the star. You guys, I mean, we have to look at it like reality at this point. Ryan Tannehill set us back. He really did, because he always kept us engaged enough. He gave us some great moments, but if we're here wanting a Super Bowl, he set us back, because every year he would get us just enough, whether we're just missing or we get in and we lose the first game outside of 1 year and we sink ourselves right in the 20th spot, 19. We're not going anywhere there. He wasn't a superstar. He couldn't win a championship. Now this kid is the first guy we're trying to see if he could be the superstar. And if he's not, we cannot revert back to the old method of trying to pick the bones of some other team and make it work. It's not going to do it. It's not.
So, Vin, I hear you that it's just so painful. If we have to continue to watch this week in, week out turnovers and, him doing this dumb shit every single week, it's got to be crash and burn, in my opinion. You got to go the whole way with him, because you know what? I think, God forbid, it doesn't turn around with him. They have to see if he's going to be the guy going forward, because they have so much invested in the quarterback position, by surrounding this guy with talent. Because I think Rand is one of those guys that if he is 10 or 11, he will trade the next round pick and move up to 2 and give, 2 firsts for a guy that he would want coming out into a draft. I know we're talking draft and quarterbacks, but this is all stemming from Will Levis not living up to the expectations in
There's
4
a reason
weeks.
for it.
Yeah. Okay. So like I said, it's holding people accountable. Okay.
Is there a guy you like, Jarett, this year?
Coming out right now, it would be
you would trade first round picks for. You could say no. You could say that yours.
Straight Cam Ward, but he showed,
he looks good.
He looked good, but there was some adversity, against Virginia Tech last Friday night.
And then you want Shador and that circus show that comes along with him.
I don't want that, and I don't want Dart, because there was adversity against Kentucky this past weekend. They're the only person in the draft this year, and like I said, we're talking draft week 4, would be Cam Ward. Well, we're not talking draft anymore. We're talking forward now. But Will Levis, in order for us to stop talking draft and stop talking quarterback play, needs to take that next step after the bye. Okay, we're 30th right now in the pass. Something needs to change, like Sal and Vinny's been saying the whole time. We have all these playmakers on offense. Get them the fucking ball in space. It's that simple. Simple.
Every week, Callahan's got to be more and more accountable as well.
Yeah, you hear Mason Rudolph saying that they're talking situational football, 2 minutes, 4 minutes. He's coming with the digs. I tweeted it. Where's the digs? Where's the post? It was a perfect dig to set up a field goal right before halftime with 16 seconds left. It was perfectly executed. Tyler Boyd right in the middle of the field. Where is that all game?
Yeah. I mean, I said it every week, and then I saw Sal tweeted it. I think he's a bit in over his head so far. I think he might have took a job that he wasn't necessarily ready for. He might have been the product of Joe Burrow, T. Higgins.
I wouldn't say
Tyler
that.
Boyd and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon in Cincinnati.
There's one thing that I didn't agree with you last week when saying that he may be in over his head. I mean, let's give him some slack. And I turned heel. Like I said, Sal is like turning the other way on us now, and me and you were turning heel, like we're the assholes now of the show. But I'll take that. That's fine. But it's literally like the same shit over and over. What were we just talking about? I totally lost my train of thought.
Oh, well, you were saying how
Callahan.
Yeah.
So Callahan, you're talking about him in over his head. I don't think so, because it's still, he needs to gel as an offensive play caller. He never called plays before. He was around an offense that called plays. He was just never, in that groove. So let's see what he does midseason, especially after the bye now with Will Levis, and we'll go from there.
I mean, but he's got – go ahead, Vin.
No, I'm just going to say it's just funny that we moved away from Derrick Henry because we wanted to modernize this offense. And now it seems like the rest of the year the formula is going to be to run the ball and play defense, which is completely ironic to me. And it just makes me laugh.
Though.
I was shitting on this franchise last week, and I was texting one of my buddies last night that it's funny that we once had A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry on the same offense, and we no longer have either of them. And
we should have a better one, though, Vin. This should be a better offense.
How do you fuck that up?
This should be a better offense, dude. Pollard, Spears, Ridley, Hopkins. Like we got to stop looking at the past. That team was going nowhere with Ryan Tannehill.
I know. It's funny to think that
nowhere.
You had two players that are top 5 in their position. Derrick Henry, in my opinion, the best running back besides Adrian Peterson, LaDainian Tomlinson of our lifetime.
Yep.
And A.J. Brown, who, when healthy, is a top 5 receiver in this league. We have both of them on the same offense. And it's just like, it's funny to think that like a franchise could fuck that up. But leave it to the Tennessee Titans to get rid of players, to modernize their offense, just to make it look exactly the same as it was before, just with different players now.
Callahan's got to do it. He's got to figure something out, though. The leash is getting shorter and shorter for this guy. I'm sorry. I don't care if you don't take the fucking job if you weren't ready for it, man. Like, he didn't have a whole lot of responsibility in any other position he had in the league. And this is his first time with real responsibility. And so far, he's taken a team on paper that's supposed to have a lot of talent and making them look like one of the worst teams in the league. His fucking special teams is abysmal. He's the ringleader. Okay. That's part of him too. He makes the calls. He could say, hey, this guy's got to go. Hey, this coach, he's got to go. He's got to be, you got to go all in or all out as a coach. You're either a head coach or you're a puppet. So it's one or the other. I'd like to think that he's the head coach because we know Vrabel wasn't a puppet. That's for sure. But, this offense is horrendous. It's literally, you could make an argument, even Todd Downing's offense was a little more creative than the one we saw last night. And I don't want to hear about we had to do what we had to do to win. You're playing fucking Snoop Huntley, okay? You're playing a guy that could not hit a screen pass, okay? Like, give me a break. This should have been an experimental game. You should have won this game no matter what you wanted to do, as long as you had a quarterback behind center that went through a full fucking training camp. That's all you needed to do. And, you just did the bare minimum to get by with a fan base watching that is disgusted after the first month of football. We matter. Like, you guys got to understand who are watching. We're the only things that matter. Our eyeballs don't watch the games. They don't get the money, okay? And nothing they're putting in front of us should make us want to get out of bed on a Sunday and say, I'm excited to watch the Titans play. Nothing. And if that doesn't bother anyone in the front office, that's all fine and good. But it's not going to pay off in the long term when you're trying to fill your new stadium with people wearing blue. It's not going to pay off in the long term. So we'll see how that cooks out.
It's
embarrassing.
It is, and I agree. And I want to switch tones a little bit because there was positive things coming into this game. We called out the offense, but we got to call out the defense. There was they were spectacular in many ways. Where Simmons wasn't in, you had call-ups in the practice squad come up. But man, oh man, Diggs played an awesome game. I think he graded out at 91, one of the top safeties this week. Absolutely killing Tyreek on that 4th and 1 on that reverse. Unbelievable. Tavondre Sweat graded out one of the best interior defensive linemen in all of football this week. Guys, I said it to you guys going into the draft. Tavondre Sweat is going to be an absolute monster. Everybody was worried about his work ethic, him being lazy. All you guys can say, you guys said it. I was a big advocate for him because I knew the type of player he was at Texas, and I knew he wasn't going to take plays off because he's just an absolute monster in the middle, and he proved it yesterday without Jeffrey Simmons. Sebastian Joseph Day is another one that had a fantastic game. He was all over the field. Arden Key, I'll give him his flowers a little bit. He was out there a little bit in the backfield. But another one, surprisingly, guys, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. making his first start at cornerback. I think he graded out at like an 82 or an 85, something like that. Absolutely. He's another bowler that I mocked for us out of Louisville. He's just that gritty type of player with Snead. And, with Cheeto going down and him stepping in, that's great depth. And that was a great find by Rand Carthon with Brownlee Jr. playing, and the depth is the biggest key for this defense. So, the defense, we're ranked first in all categories besides the run. So the defense is not going to be the problem. It's the offense that needs to start going, and that's why we're harping so much week in and week out on this offense because there's so much talent, but there's nothing to prove for it right now.
You see Carthon pasted on the sideline at the end of the game. He was like, like you all better fucking win this game, man. It was, the speech was a little tacky, gotta be honest. Didn't really get me too excited, honestly. But it was Amy's birthday, so at least we gave her something to cheer about today.
Yes. Happy birthday, Miss Amy, if you're watching.
Yes. I think she might be. Sometimes I wish she wasn't with some of the things that I say, but she everyone knows that watches us. We don't pull any punches, and that's just only because of our passion and our
It's
love.
accountability. That's all it is.
That's it.
Accountability.
Yeah, it's accountability. Yeah, we give flowers to anyone who deserves them, like Nick Folk, which I think we start the show talking about Nick Folk. I don't know if we did, but
No.
I mean, guys, like he's the MVP of the game. It cannot be sold short. You know, he makes what 4 50-plus yarders in this game to equate to more than a quarter of our points. Like these are monstrous plays that would have ruined field position if they were not made. So this guy needs all the credit in the world.
Yep.
We're not used to it, and it's like we're taking it for granted all of a sudden that we have a kicker that can make kicks. I will not be one of them. Nick Folk gets an A++ last night, and he's about the only one on our special teams that we can have any kind of positive statements for, because it's a train wreck otherwise. Like every fucking punt now, somebody's touching the ball other than the guy who's supposed to at some point in time, and it just got to stop because, like we always say, it's a game of inches, and special teams can rip away those inches that you need. So it's got to get corrected. Last night, it needs to be fixed, and hopefully it is. You got 2 weeks. So, anything else you guys want to throw in?
No, I'll apologize to Tavondre Sweat as well. I was wanting
as will I.
Yeah. I don't want to say doubters. I think we knew he had the ability. We just kind of questioned maybe his
work ethic. Yeah,
his passion, his work ethic. So he showed up and showed out, and we're going to need him because Jeffrey Simmons said today his elbow is similar to like a Tommy John type thing. So I don't know. If he can't extend his elbow full go, you know what I mean? That's how you generate your power as a defensive lineman, is your hands. And without your elbow, you can't really use your hands. So who knows what the future holds with him this year. So we're going to need Sweat going forward. But yeah, the defense is, it's the same old Titans. We're going to run the ball and play defense, guys. I guess it just doesn't matter who's in the front office and who's calling plays. Maybe that's just who we're meant to be.
No, it does matter. And it needs to stop, or else we're going to be an embarrassment, which we've already been looked at as after 4 weeks. So, I mean, really, you can't even go on watching anything on YouTube TV because everyone is just talking still. Even with Huntley playing, they're talking about how terrible the Dolphins are and what a boring game it was. And then you watch the other game that was on last night, and you got fucking Geno Smith and Jared Goff, who 5 years ago were considered to be backups. Now they're putting up games with 100 points scored almost. What was it? What was the final of that game? 40-something to 30-something?
27.
I mean, like, it's not that difficult to block the guy that throws the ball and get the guys that catch the ball open. It's really not. Okay, and it looks like it's an impossibility from this franchise, and that is a top to bottom issue. Everyone involved with scheming, coaching, scouting, the standard needs to raise immediately, and we'll be okay because it's not very high right now, and that's why we're doing hip hop hooray, fucking post game victory speeches like we won the Super Bowl and we needed a fucking safety to score 31. So. We'll see how things go. We have 2 weeks to prepare for a must win because we're not beating Buffalo the week after. So we need to win this game against the Colts at home. Whoever the quarterback is, I hope it's Richardson, to be quite honest. I don't know about you two. You want to throw that in there before we get in? Who you'd rather see of the two?
I mean, he's much like Levis. He's going to struggle to stay on the field just because of the way he plays. And I said that from the start. This kid's not going to last, the way he lowers his shoulder and tries to run people over. And I think he's got a hip pointer now, so he's going to have a hard time driving the ball down the field if he can't twist. And, that you're going to need that hip. So I foresee it being Flacco. Shout out South Jersey's finest right there, Audubon, New Jersey. It's just down the street from your boy. And, he's still cutting a check, and it looks like he can still play some football. So regardless of who it is, we want to beat the Colts at least, especially it's at home. Have some pride. You know what I mean? Have some level of pride because, it's give us something to be happy about. If last night wasn't it, let us beat the Colts at home so we could at least talk shit for a couple weeks.
Think and dream we have a shot against the Bills on any.
I'm gonna the Broncos went to Denver. I mean, went to the Meadowlands and beat the Jets this week.
Yeah, let's not.
They have a great coaching staff, Denver. That's why.
You know what? And we got a really good defensive coaching staff. So that's why I'm saying we're number one in the league in pass. No, we're number one in the league in pass and rush. No one's rushing on us. So our defense is going to keep us in games, like you've been saying. So any quarterback or any game, I think we're going to be in as long as we can score points and move the ball down the field and eat clock.
Yeah,
that's the biggest key. Keeping the other offense off the field, and I think our defense would do that going forward. Knock on wood.
That's never going to win you a title, but it's what we need to lean on it now. Otherwise, we're going to be miserable and not going to be able to enjoy any kind of victories. So that's what we got to do. We got to revert back to 2023 fucking Titan football, and it's the sad but honest truth. And maybe something will happen. Obviously, if Will Levis decides to play like a franchise quarterback, everything could be different. And this team could beat literally anyone in the league. But there are zero signs. And when I say zero, I mean zero signs that that's a possibility. And until there is, we got to act as such. So
9 turnovers in 3 full games in 1 quarter.
That's just otherworldly bad. That's just, you cannot compare yourself to Peyton Manning and Josh Allen with a stat line like that. I don't care what their stat lines were for the year, 2 years.
What do I always say? It's the only stat that matters. Liz, it's the only stat that matters.
Turnover. Yes, and he is making it matter in a big way. So, we'll see how things pan out. We'll keep you guys posted as to what transpires in the coming weeks while we prepare for the Colts. And as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. The more support, the better. We're gaining a lot of steam each and every week, and we appreciate everybody that's joining us as a new sub every time we go on. So that's going to do it for us. Hope everyone has a phenomenal rest of their week. Will, please stop doing this for a couple fucking first downs. I'd appreciate it. And that's going to do it. Tighten up. Jimmy, send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.